Yeah, so we're gonna do a video of what games we're looking forward to in 2021. 2020 just passed, and hopefully things get better in 2021. The games seem better, at the very least. Hopefully none of these games will have like production delays. But we're gonna talk about what games we're looking forward to. So the first game we're gonna talk about is Little Nightmares 2. It's a game I'm looking forward to personally. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I would say so. Although I wasn't a huge fan of the first game, so.
Okay, so Little Nightmares 2 is a horror platformer, a 2D platformer. And it's single player, which is kind of surprising because with this Little Nightmares 2, you do follow Six, and then you follow this new character, Mono, and he's a new character. You're gonna be joined by Six. So yeah, but it's not a multiplayer. It's a single player, which is kind of weird. I feel like they could at least have done local co-op. I don't see why they couldn't have done that. Just trying
Well,
this.
I think there's going to be a lot of scripted stuff, but yeah, it would have been cool if there was.
Yeah, but even trying the scripted stuff, and they're still able to pull off local co-op. I don't know why they didn't want to do it that way. But yeah, so what else? So it's like when I was looking through people playing this game, it seemed like they had like a lot of like Easter eggs that I'm not even sure if they are Easter eggs or not, but it looks like a lot of like obviously kind of the like the Holocaust shoes in the first game that comes back, a lot of like the shoe references, but I'm not sure if they were like trying to do like a reference to that or not. And then you see, well, in this game it's like there's like a transmission that's like causing evil or something like that. So it kind of reminded me of Outlast 2 with the transmissions from Markov's like tower affecting the village there. So I wonder if that was also an Easter egg. And then you see like Slender Man in the trailer. Well, at least Slender Man looking like character in the trailer, so I thought that was interesting. So it feels like they're putting a lot of references in, even like the TV kind of reminded me of The Ring.
You can see the little figure there.
And then I saw the different environments there, so you're going through like cabins, you're going through hospital, libraries, a city. I think that's the biggest one. You kind of go like their grocery stores and whatnot, so that's interesting. And then like the different enemy types that you will see in the game as well. I'm not too like familiar with what if they're gonna add anything new, because it all seems like the same stuff from the previous game. And Little Nightmares is more about the story than anything, right? Like, well, maybe not the story, but like the lore, because like it kind of feels like,
yeah, the world building and all that.
Yeah, it feels like Dark Souls in the sense that they don't really like explain. They don't really have like nodes. You kind of just have to like be like, well, this looks like.
Yeah, everything is just weird, and you kind of have to piece it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the second game for especially the environments. I think it's a lot more interesting than the mall that you were on in the first game. I thought the first game was kind of static with its environment, and it got old near the end. Even though it was still interesting though. It was still good and interesting though. But it's cool to see the variety. Like one of the trailers was in like some mental hospital, and then the other trailer was you were in like a forest, and it was very it was like sparsely populated at all. Just the one cabin and the guy doing his sewing hobby. So
his sewing hobbies.
And the trailer has a lot of weird shit in it too, like the people standing there and like you were saying with the tower and stuff. So I'm sure it'll be fun. And
yeah, so he's not really interested in the games that I'm interested in, like more like story and not a lot of difficulty curve with gameplay.
Yeah, so, like, I'm a real capital G gamer, thank you.
You're a real gamer.
Mario is not a real game.
Okay, so next one. So the next game that I'm looking forward to is Outlast Trials. And in this one, they haven't given us a lot of clues. There's not even like a solid release date, so that could be delayed. Because when I'm looking at the trailer, it's a lot of cinematic. It's not a lot of gameplay so far. But Red Barrel does come through like with I don't think their games have been delayed before. or at least they would
I
announce
don't
it
know.
and then delay it.
I wouldn't stress about. I mean, I guess the whole Cyberpunk fiasco has kind of got people talking about this stuff, but like, I wouldn't stress about delays and things like that.
A lot of games are being delayed though, and movies.
You should, yeah, but like, you shouldn't stress about it. It's just the times, you know, COVID. Like, obviously it sucks if it gets delayed, but and these guys don't even have a release date, and they probably won't have a release date until they.
Excuse me, the release date is what was it? What was it? It was a really funny release date. It was like Freedom ends in 2021. And I was speculating, okay, like Freedom ends 2021. Ends, does it mean the end of 2021? Or like February? Because like Freedom kind of rhymes with February. Not really, but you know, I'm speculating. And also, the last two games came out like early on in the year. I can't really remember what months it was, but it was like early, like April, March or something like that, or May. Can't remember.
Well, so I think they released when there weren't, like, during a period where there weren't a lot of games releasing.
Oh, really?
I feel like they did, but I can't remember.
Yeah, because like the first game they ever put out was in October, but maybe they decided that those early months are better, so we might see it come out soon. But why would they not list the release date if that's the case?
I wouldn't expect it to come out till probably I would expect a release date announcement at the end of this year.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because like looking at the trailer now, I'm not seeing anything that I could confirm as gameplay. A lot of it looks like CGI or scripted or like some sort of animation, like in-engine animation or something like that. Which means that to me it says they're not. Like, this could be gameplay, but it's very hard to tell because it looks scripted as well, like CGI or in-engine cutscene. So, to me, that means that they're not confident in the actual game that they have. It's still in the early stages of development, or like getting out of the early stages of development, and they're gonna start doing like full steam ahead now that they've given like a rough window for the release.
Yeah, and they are doing something new this time as well, because they're doing multiple player. So you could play up to 4 characters, I'm guessing online with your peers, or with your friends, if you have any. So good luck finding people who will play Outlast with you.
Yeah.
Like some friends might not want to play a murder game, you know?
Well, it depends on how they do the game too. If you could like matchmake, that'd be cool. But it's, you know, we don't have a lot of information on it really, right? So
yeah, and I am assuming like maybe the multiple player is gonna not be included with the main story of the game. Maybe it's gonna be.
It could be. It could have a campaign and a multiplayer thing.
Yeah, so it might be kind of like Dead by Daylight, where somebody plays the monster and chases everybody, or you're just playing like the character that runs away from.
I think it would be very interesting if they had it. The campaign was usually the campaigns where you are the person that is like the prisoner, right? Or you get stuck in the asylum, or whatever. Like I think it'd be very interesting for the multiplayer if they had said you played as like the doctors, right? And so the breakout starts happening, and now you're playing as a group of doctors, and you're trying to survive, or something like that.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Because we never really explored it from like the actual Murkoff perspective, and I think with the multiplayer you could create a fun game mode and tell like interesting lore at the same time about like Murkoff, the actual corporation Murkoff, instead of just like what they do. But you know, this is all speculation. I don't actually think they will really go that route, but I think it'd be an interesting way to take it.
Yeah. Okay. So this game will actually take place in the Cold War era. So I looked that up. It was between 1947 and 1953. So that's the first like part of the Cold War. Then the second part actually lasted till like 1991.
Yeah.
Like from the 80s to 91. But I'm assuming it's earlier. I don't know.
Do you know the other two? Do you know what time period the other two games are set in?
Like 2000s.
Okay, so this is like the beginning, I guess, of the Murkoff Corporation.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would assume so. So I don't think we're gonna actually see any old characters return, just because they would be babies.
Yeah, no, definitely don't think so.
So I don't think they're gonna include any old, like new characters. Any old characters. So that's gonna be interesting. We're most likely gonna see new characters added into the game, and yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. I'm looking forward to other YouTubers playing it and seeing them get scared. I might not play it. I haven't decided yet because I got scared. I got too scared to play the first.
Well, this
two games.
is a game I'm excited in too. Like
like I'm excited to see people play. I'm not excited.
Yeah.
Might not play it myself because I get too scared. It's
What?
really gory. Like they really went out with the DLC on Outlast. I still can't believe how like gory that was.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you know, like obviously there's like a character that everybody loves, Eddie, and he like tries to make your character into.
I wouldn't. I guess it's an old game. I was gonna say you shouldn't do any spoilers, but I guess.
Yeah, but he was like cutting up people and
Yeah.
tying them to the ceiling and whatnot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. This game looks cool. Trailer is very, very cool as well.
Okay, so the next game I'm interested in is Hogwarts Legacy. And then this Hogwarts game, it's gonna be, I think, set in the 18th century, or is it 19th century?
18th century, I think it said.
But we're not sure if it's gonna be a lot different from the movies or previous games, because like even in the movies they weren't like using phones or like tablets or anything like that, right? It's like it still felt like old, but kind of, you know, but there are still like, you know, tech from the 2000s in the movies. So I'm not sure if it's gonna be any different, but it looks great. The trailer looks great, but I'm not sure if there's a lot of gameplay in it. Yeah, and it looked like it was gonna be multiple player, just because like the characters kept changing when in the trailer. So I'm not sure if it's gonna focus on a character and you know, like go through it like a story, or you're gonna play multiple characters and you kind of see you kind of like see other people playing while you play yourself. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. And another thing that might be unfortunate is that it's only going to be on consoles, because when I looked up the company name, let me see here, I think it was like Avalanche.
Yeah, Avalanche
Studios.
Yeah.
I don't think they've made games for PC before. And the trailer even says like PS5, so
Yeah, the trailer's on the PlayStation's YouTube channel, and it says PS5 after, like, it says Hogwarts Legacy trailer and then PS5 at the end. So this very well could be a console exclusive, which would be unfortunate, because I think this is one of the better looking Harry Potter games that I've seen, really.
yeah, it looks really good. It kind of like, it looks like the style of The Sims to me for some reason, but it isn't. Like I don't know why, but it just reminds me. It feels like, oh, The Sims made a game.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like people are actually moving in.
No, I can see that.
Yeah, it looks really good though. It looks very interesting. Like I'm looking forward to it, because like you did say like you think that there's gonna be more like lore, like more like focus on
Yeah,
the
like
wizards side.
since it's so far back in history compared to the timeline of the books, my prediction for this game is it's gonna be some sort of single player grind adventure game, and you're just gonna make your own character and go through as if you were a student. But because it's Portkey Games, because it's so far back in time, they have a lot of flexibility for the kind of stories they can tell, and like the lore that they can get into, and all that other good stuff. So I think if you're like, I'm a Potterhead, I guess. I've read all the books more than once.
Yeah, you know more about Harry Potter than I ever will, because I've never really read any of the books.
I'm one of those people that like during the movies I'm like, well, in the book actually it went like this, and so I'm very curious what they do with this game. I played a couple of the Harry Potter games too, that was like back on the PS2 and PS3 and stuff, and I never thought they were that good. So I'm pretty excited for this one. I hope they do the Potter world justice.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. The studio hasn't really released any games I've ever played in my entire life. They released kind of like movie games, like Disney movie games.
They released Attack and the Power of Juju for all the 90s kids.
Don't know what that is. So yeah, like the only thing I am sad about is that it might be a console exclusive, in which case I'm like, I don't have a console. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to watch people play it if it's a console exclusive, but
I'm not excited to watch people play it. Like, I want to play it personally.
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of YouTube videos about like theories and stuff. about the
Yeah.
Wizarding World after this game comes out.
Yeah, I
Which is what
think
I'm
we
most
need
excited
more
for.
of that because, like,
Yeah.
you know, you do like if you like a franchise, you kind of want to keep it going, even though like the main writer has done a lot of and said a lot of controversial
Yeah.
bad things. So
Can't bring it up on YouTube, you get demonetized. Not that we're
Demonetized.
monetized to begin with.
demonetized by J.K. Rowling herself.
Dementorized.
Or was it the name how do they say Voldemort's name? Like
He who must not be named.
she who must not be
Oh,
named.
right.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. The only thing I'm worried about is that it feels kind of like a money grab.
You think so? I don't think so. Not yet. We'll see how the DLC structure looks like and what their pay model is. They definitely could try to milk this for all it's worth.
I mean, it is the Hogwarts.
Yeah.
You know, like it is that. Like,
But if they just
franchise.
focused on making, that's why I think it's gonna be like that's a good push for it being a multiplayer game, a live service game, with some form of multiplayer in it. It does look like you kind of do some dungeon crawling and boss fightings, so I maybe it'll be like some sort of persona game, and even the trailer kind of looks like.
But will you be able to ride a dragon?
Yeah, that's the question. Yes, this game is probably my most hyped game for its potential.
Yeah, and it did get delayed till 2022. I don't know if I mentioned that. But
Oh yeah, the trailer is gonna be saying 2021, but it did get delayed.
cool. Okay, now your turn. What games are you looking forward to?
Okay, so this next game is going to be Dying Light 2. This is a game that I'm very interested in, that I don't know if she will be interested in doing videos on. Dying Light 1 was a parkour first-person shooter zombie survival game with heavy emphasis on parkour and movement, and as well as melee combat. So it was not... I would say it was kind of revolutionary first time, but not really. It really reinvigorated the zombie genre, in my opinion, just because it was a breath of fresh air in a fairly stale genre. Because most zombie survival games, you're just like you're with your mates and you're shooting zombies, and that's it, right? Like you think of like COD, Black Ops, or
I feel like there's so many zombie games.
yeah, there really are. So, but if I was a huge fan of a game called Mirror's Edge, which came out a long time ago, which is a pure parkour game. And Dying Light 2 kind of felt like a bit of a successor between Mirror's Edge and like Far Cry, a mix of those two. And the storytelling was really bad, but the gameplay was amazing. So Dying Light 2 promises a lot more with the parkour system. They've added a lot of new moves and a lot of new things that you can do. And they've changed up the location to allow for a lot more varied buildings and free running opportunities. So it looks very cool, and they promise a grand story, I guess, because they say that your decisions will affect the world as the story progresses. There will be a bunch of different factions in the game, and depending on who you decide to help and the decisions you make when solving crises and stuff like that will shape who controls the territory of the game. And then based on what the faction's about, like there's like a militia faction that's all about war. And then there's like a faction that's just like here, like trying to make sure everybody has enough food and water and stuff like that. Like just people trying to make sure everybody can survive. And then there's, you know, like other factions with a lot of personality. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, it just looks really good. The trailer shows off, like the graphics have improved a lot. And it just shows off a lot of the improvements to the parkour gameplay and animation. I'm very excited, so.
Yeah, I'm not excited because I don't really care for games like this.
Yeah, no, she's much more about
the story.
Yeah, and thinking games, I would say.
Oh yeah, I like puzzle games.
Yeah, like you prefer slower paced games that like make you engage more with your mind. I'm definitely more of a like first person kind of guy. Lots of action and movement and stuff like that. So yeah, it looks cool. I don't know. I'm very excited for it. This trailer's very long, and I don't really have too much more to say. So
Okay.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Where do you think it's located in?
It's based off of some European architecture.
It looks like Germany.
Yeah, but there's a couple different like depending on the territory too.
This
it changes
looks like
around.
a really famous like gate
Yeah.
in Europe.
I do know it's supposed to be European. The first game had European, or not European, but
Imagine if you're British and
Turkey.
you have to you're in France. That'd be so funny.
Yeah, like you can see some of the like those factions with the blue and white shields. These guys are like a police state kind of faction. If you commit any crimes, it's like you get executed for stealing food, you know, stuff like that. So, and you have like thugs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Reminds me of what's that Bethesda game? The Las Vegas.
Fallout New Vegas?
Yeah, Fallout. Because they had factions and like
yeah,
you could join factions and the story what you pick, the choices you make affect the story.
yeah.
And sometimes you make the wrong decision, and thankfully you have a save file, but you've played like literally 2 hours of it already and you don't want to go back to it.
Someone's a little salty, yeah.
They never completed it because of that.
I never completed it because it's old. I'm millennial. Yeah, I also want to say that the developer for this game, Techland, they're very pro community, I would say, but they did kind of milk the first game with DLC for a long time. But none pay to win or anything. It was all cosmetics, so you have to do what you will with that information. But they're good. They're like what everybody thinks CDPR is. Everybody thinks CD Projekt Red's a bastion of greatness, but Techland's where it's at, guys.
Actually, it's Red Barrels.
Whatever.
That's where it is.
So this game is Deathloop. They just jump right in with their trailer, no title card or anything. So Deathloop, the point is, so this game was made by the studio that made Dishonored, 1 and 2, and those 2 games are very popular with their respective fan bases. And I would agree, they both have some of the smoothest stealth action gameplay in any game that I've ever played. And Deathloop just looks like more of the good shit. The premise of this game is a lot more interesting as well. Basically, you're this guy and you're hunted for sport at this giant, crazy party with a bunch of different characters. And the map is supposed to be huge. And so you have 24 hours. Every time you die, you go back in time. And you have 24 hours, basically, before you die to something. So you're just trying to figure out a way out of the loop to break the cycle so that you stop being hunted. But the odds are really against you. But so depending on the actions you take, it will affect how the day progresses, right? There's probably scripted actions that happen at certain parts of the day for every different person, and then messing with them, it will mess with the entire next 24 hours, right? So it seems to be like this huge interconnected woven puzzle, and you're trying to kill like all the people that are actually trying to kill you. It's like, it's very much it's like a one versus the world kind of scenario. So yeah, I'm very interested in this game. They make games with great gameplay, and this game just seems like more innovation on that formula. They've introduced guns in this game, which was a very minor part of the previous 2 games. It was more focused on traps and your magical abilities. This game definitely seems to be more about the in-your-face action moments, along with the puzzle-like structure of the 24-hour system. So we don't have a whole lot of information on the story or setting or anything, other than what the gameplay trailers show us. But the gameplay trailers were more focused on gameplay, so yeah, I'm not. I don't know. You haven't heard of this game, have you?
Deathloop? I think no. Actually, no. I felt like I'd heard of it because I feel like you talked about it, but I forgot it.
We did watch the PS5 stuff, right? Because this was mentioned in a couple of the
kind of
game
reminds
shows.
me of like the 60s, 70s, like the art, like the setting, the aesthetics are kind of like that, like Austin Power.
Oh yeah, kind of, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Austin Power might be a good way to describe this kind of game. I forget the name of the studio. It really slips my mind. Hopefully we'll put it in subtitles so I remember. But they know how to make good settings. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm very excited for this game. I think this game will be fun.
Yay!
I think you will enjoy this game too, just for the like puzzle aspect of trying to figure out what to do within the 24 hours. So, no, you don't think so? Okay.
No, I'm like very unexcited about the 2 games that you have showed me.
Yeah.
But I don't really like those kind of games. Actually, we should include one more game because
Sure.
it's Far Cry.
Oh yeah.
We should include that. Just because like I like Far Cry because I like the story aspect of it. So if there is story interweaved, but like interesting story, that I'm like a story that I'm interested in personally, then I want to like obviously like look through it. But yeah, I lately not been that interested in like first person shooter games. Really, like I'm kind of tired of that genre.
Yeah.
And I've played like first person shooters. I played BioShock, and I've played like um what's that popular game that Borderlands played.
Yeah.
I've played first person shooters before, but like as I'm getting older, I don't care for them as much.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't really care about the new Borderlands, even though it was pretty hyped for a lot of people.
Yeah, I didn't care. I really did not care for Cyberpunk 77.
Oh,
so.
I see. I'm interested in that game, but honestly, that game is just a joke right now. So, look at you. It's an unfinished POS.
Why even like announce it? I don't understand. Like,
this isn't a Cyberpunk ranked video. We're gonna move on to the next game before we get even further off topic.
But why announce a game and not release? Like why just do that? Like why not just not announce it?
Yeah, they wanted to cash in on money.
The hype? Like
Yeah.
they wanted to hype, but then like
because they had a lot of goodwill too with their fan base, and people really trusted them, so they just wanted to. They probably did some.
Like I really don't understand PR people and like advertising, because it's like what exactly did they accomplish there?
Nothing. Other
Like
than making
what
everybody
did they
angry.
accomplish with announcements? Like
Far Cry 5
you have, if you're gonna announce something, you have to release it. So you should have a done game before you announce it, right? That would make the most sense. Or they just announce it to pressure their employees.
Yeah, who knows? They wanted it out for the Christmas season, that's for sure, but they could have waited till next Christmas. Okay, so you want to introduce this one?
I don't remember much about Far Cry. This is just like, it doesn't even have gameplay in it. It's just like a visual trailer.
Oh, this isn't even a game that's slated to come out in 2021, so maybe we shouldn't include it.
When is it? Oh, is it just like...
This is just an announcement trailer.
Oh,
saying
it's
we're working
fine.
on
We
it.
could just include it
Okay.
anyways. I mean, like, I'm sure there's a lot of people hyped for it. Yeah, it's Far Cry game. It's people can get murdered.
Yeah.
They're gonna be story. Somebody might go crazy. Somebody might believe in like a higher being. They are the higher being, and you know whatnot. But it's like a riot, right? Like there's like some kind of power struggle here.
Yeah, well, this guy's clearly a dictator.
Mhm.
Control this place. This is his son. I don't know. Far Cry's always been about the villain, right? It's
Yeah,
never
they've
about
been
much
very
else.
good about developing villains to be interesting, or you know.
Well, I think the Far Cry 4 villains were really... I think Far Cry 4 was lame, but the rest of them, yeah, have been really good. Far Cry 5 was... So Far Cry 3, obviously, Voss was the best villain in the series up to that point.
Mhm.
And then Far Cry 4, I think there was a bit of a stumble, but still fun. But Far Cry 5, that villain, Joseph Seed, right?
Mm-mm.
He was a good villain. I liked him a lot. Even though I didn't play it, I watched other people play it.
Yeah, he had really cool glasses, and we wanted to get that glass, but
Yeah.
they're just glasses. We cannot be spending money just because we
Yeah.
want to look like a villain, you know.
Yeah. I got my own serial killer glasses now.
Speaking
so.
of, oh my god, like off topic, but like the Razor mask.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so cool. Like my boyfriend showed it to me yesterday, and I was like, even I thought it was really cool. Because they said that there's like a voice changing mechanism in it, right?
No. That's what people were hoping for inside of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, then there's definitely not.
There
gonna be a voice.
is like a filtration system though.
Yeah, there's a filtration system, but if there's no voice changing it, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
then I'm not interested anymore. Who fucking cares?
For all the RGB.
Who cares?
It also comes with a UV light cleaning case, disinfecting
I
case.
don't care. I care even less.
I hope there's a voice changer. That'd be awesome.
That'd be so cool, because like we want to sound like troopers, so
Yeah.
or like Darth Vader, and that'd be like very interesting. But you know, whatever. But yeah, Far Cry 6. I don't really feel like they're gonna change much in the Far Cry series. It's kind of stagnant, like a lot of franchises.
Yeah.
It is like a first-person shooter. You know.
Well, we don't know what any gameplay is going to be like, but yeah, the Far Cry formula is very tried and true, as they say.
Yeah.
I don't know, the villain looks amazing, though, for this game.
Yeah, it's nice to add a bit of color to your...
Yeah.
A little bit of color, people of color in...
Well, I mean, the fourth game was set in the Himalayas, right? So that was all...
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was
I
all
didn't.
ethnic people.
I didn't.
The white man was the real villain at the end, obviously. But...
White men are the real villains in general, if you think about it. I'm joking.
But yeah, so this game I'm really everyone's hyped for this game. I imagine this trailer went over really well with people, and for good reason. It's a really well.
It's cinematic though. There's no gameplay in it.
Although I don't think it's actually how grenades work, because usually, like, well, what do I know, right?
What do I know?
I trust the dictator.
What if you get to pick between being good and bad? Because doesn't Far Cry kind of do that?
Kind of.
You know who
really.
he looks like? He looks like the villain in Breaking Bad, like the mob boss guy. I'll put a picture of him. Yeah, and that's just basically...
He looks like the actor that plays the villain in... it might be the same guy. He looks like the actor that plays the villain in the Mandalorian. Moff Tarkin.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you might be right. Actually, he looks more like that guy.
Yeah, I think it's based off of him. But...
Or are they the same people? No, they're not the same people. But yeah, so those are all the games that we're looking forward to. Very exciting stuff. Hopefully this year will be a bit better for everybody in general. I know everybody's having like a tough time being employed, and you know, just the general like bad things that are happening this year.
Yeah.
At least we have games to look forward to. So if you're having like a hard time like being alive,
Okay.
you know, like think about things that you could look forward to like that. Keeps me going at least.
Video games keep us all going.